Podcasting from the Chicagoland area, this is Game On with Jackson Stuart, where we discuss men's lifestyle, focusing on sex, fitness, relationships, business, and more. We'll be interviewing the best of the best, the hot shots, and the rising stars in the worlds of modeling, fitness, cooking, and more. Influencers who are discussing keeping it sexy while at the top of their game. I'm your host, Jackson Stuart. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the game. What if you could be a better player for the cost of one more cup of coffee a month? Get access to a growing library of lit erotica, behind-the-scenes action, and player's guides with tips on drinking, cooking, fitness, dating, sex, and life after dark. Low tier rate while offer lasts. Patreon.com, Game On with Jack. Keep it sexy and game on. Good people, sexy people, welcome to another episode of Game On with Jackson Stuart. I'm your host, and as always, I'm very glad to have you guys with me, and I appreciate you taking out the time not only just to hear me talk, but you're taking out time for yourself, because this show is all about leveling up, right? It's all about, you may be good, and good is great, but why settle for good when you can be better? And, we're all trying to level up. We're all trying to be better in the game. And so I appreciate you taking out time to take care of yourself. So a couple things I want to invite you to: definitely hit up gameonwithjack.shop, enroll for free. You can take advantage of classes, workshops. You'll get automatically able to enroll in the free Guys Night Out guide. And coming this month, I will unveil Alpha Workshop. I think it's Alpha 201, I think is the course name. And it's everything about how to be an alpha male. What is an alpha male? What an alpha male is not. Where are you at? Ways to keep track of your activities and what's beta male versus alpha male, and how to level up to be that guy that you want to be. Sign up for the new Game On with Jackson Stuart email list, and you receive free 15 Confidence Commandments document PDF immediately. As soon as you sign up, you'll get the steps to do that. And that is located at gameonwithjack.aweb.page. Finally, if you want to get some Game On guides, swing by patreon.com/gameonwithjack. Subscribe. There's 2 tier levels. One is the basic, and one is that after dark level for a little bit more adult content. Check it out. I think you will enjoy everything you find there, and love to have you. Tonight, we are discussing Real Talk with Jack, why they don't want you to be a man. And, I was getting some feedback from people, and they're like, well, Jack, what are you talking about? Like, who is they? And why would somebody not want me to be a man? And we're going to dive into that. So what does this mean? And who is they? And what is a man? And should you ever not be the man? And, who or what am I when I am the man? So all these questions popped up off of this subject. And, years and years and years and years ago, a good friend of mine told me, women want you to be the man, but they also want you to know when not to be the man. And I was much younger when he told me that, and it puzzled me, right? And I was trying to figure out what the hell did that mean. And given his definition of the man, he was an older cat, so he was thinking about, the guy that makes the decisions, the guy that moves life, moves the family, moves the household, the guy that ultimately is the last call on everything. That man. And he, to a certain degree, he's right. Women do want you to be the man. They want you to be this decisive, strong, reliable force who sometimes is going to tell them what to do and how to do it. Like, this is where we're going to go. This is, this is what we're going to do, et cetera, et cetera. Um, Now, there's times when that's cool. There's times when you can say, hey, you know, get dressed up, grab your shoes, we're going out to a nice place. Boom. And there's times when that's sexy. There's times when women are going to be like, oh, hell, like I like that take charge, that direct, that kind of, excuse me, that kind of presence, not that wishy-washy. And, that goes back to the whole beta male, goes back to the whole, um, uh, you know, nice guy versus good guy kind of debate, and we've had that before. A great episode if you haven't heard that. But there's times when a woman does not want to be told what to do. There's times when she does not want you to be the man. Maybe she just wants you to be a partner, a soundboard, a listening character, and you gotta know, when to be that. But for the sake of this discussion, I'm going to pull from some of that my dear friend had told me, and I'm going to throw out possibly a controversial topic. As the man, most of the people in your life see you as a resource. It doesn't mean that they don't care about you. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. It doesn't mean that they do not feel legitimate feelings for you, but you are a resource. You are something that can be counted on to solve a problem, alleviate an undesired condition, whether it be, if if somebody needs a ride somewhere, if somebody needs some cash for something, if somebody needs a jar opened, whatever it is, you are a resource. Now, there are about 5 reasons why they don't want you to be the man. And I'm going to define that, and I'm going to explain why that is in opposition to this whole resource idea. The 5 reasons all are centered around the concept of control. Control, as defined by our good friends over at Merriam-Webster, is the power to influence or direct people's behavior or the course of events. So that's control. Most people who try to control everything are dealing with a lack of control. They've led tumultuous lives. God, I hate when I can't pronounce something here. They've led tumultuous lives where nothing has been in their control, so they are now trying to handle what they can. They're almost like trying to control their life backwards. Control is based on fear. And when you become the man, you become something that they fear. Because when they try to control you as a resource, they are operating with a fear of scarcity. Like they need you to work on this project. The fear is that it won't get done unless you're involved. They need you to devote so much of your paycheck to something. The fear is that they won't be able to handle the cost, and there'll be a gap, and there'll be a debt if you're not involved. So there's this fear of what happens if you're absent from their equation. When you become the man, you become something that they fear instead of fearing your lack of presence. So let's get into what do I mean by the man. Um, I'm not talking about how many sex partners you have or how much you can bench press or how many push-ups you can do. No, we're past all that old school Oedipus machismo bullshit. A man is somebody who is stand up, does what he says he'll do. He's got integrity, conviction, strength of character. He's a badass when he needs to be. Otherwise, he's gentle. He's cool under pressure, respectful, polite. He's a sexual force. And he has goals and he tackles them like he's slaying a damn dragon. That's the man that is first invited to any event where people want a good ass time. That's what I mean by when I say the man. Now, who is this they? And they could be society. They could be your job, your boss, your family, your friends, women, men, the people whose world, whose day-to-day interaction, whose emotional state and well-being depend largely on you being who you are and how you interact with them. So that's the they, and that's what a man is. Control, and I love some of these quotes from Jack Welch: control your destiny or someone else will. Barbara DeAngelis: no one is in control of your happiness but you. Therefore, you have the power to change anything about yourself or your life that you want to change. And lastly, from the great poet William Ernest Henley, and if you've never read the poem Invictus, after you get through listening to this podcast, please read it. It's a beautiful poem. The last two lines of it are, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. So the first reason why they do not want you to be a man, and let me back up for a second. If you are controlled by external forces, that does not mean you're not a man. It just means that you are a resource that is being controlled. You're still a man. I'm not insulting your manhood, but you're not the man, the best man that you could be. So the first fear and reason why they don't want you to be a man is that becoming a man means that you're in control of yourself. Why is that bad for them? Controlling you as a resource is paramount. They only know how to work the old you. And as you level up and change into a man, as we defined it previously, they don't know how to handle you. You know, they have a series of steps, triggers, words, actions, maybe colors and code words that make you do this or that exactly as they want you to do it. So here's an example. Your boss, who could be cool, or he could be a total dick, or she's a total dick, but they know how to get you to pick up the slack of your suck-ass coworker. Maybe it's a big project, and they walk over to you and, it's quitting time, or it's almost the weekend, or whatever it is, and maybe they hit you with we're going to be screwed on this project without you. Or, we only come to you with big projects. And they're using these phrases to make you feel like, Superman who's being asked to save the world, or, the last ditch effort, or the silver bullet, the hope of this entire company to get this thing done because nobody else is going to do it. They're basically just controlling you to make you do shit. It might be above and beyond stuff. You're good at your job, but this is extra and you should not have to do it. You don't have to do it, but they're going to dump shit on you. Maybe it's somebody you're dating and they know how to get you to come out and hang out at an event that you don't want to, even if it's something else going on that you want to do, but they know how to pout or cuddle or kiss or whatever to get you to do what they want you to do. That's control. And that's controlling you as a resource. First case was work. You're a resource. You're a good employee. You're a working resource. Second, you're a resource in a relationship. You might be an emotional or financial or sexual resource. But whatever the situation is, you're not in control. But as a man, you become aware of these triggers and you don't respond like Pavlov's dog. And if you know anything about Pavlov's dog, you don't want to be that. And for those who don't, I'll spare you the trouble looking it up. Pavlov was a scientist who had trained dogs to drool every time they heard a bell. And it was about control. It was about stimulus. It was about manipulation. How do you get out of this, how do you get out of this being controlled and being in control of yourself? Well, look at situations that you were not comfortable in. Situations where you felt used up. And you know what they are. It's not like you're in denial. You don't know how to get out of it. But look at these situations. Take them apart. Think about what were the triggers. Why did I do that project and get no credit for it? Why did I go to that dumbass concert and I didn't want to go? Like, look for the words. Look for the sounds. Look for the ways that you're getting worked. And write them down. Make a list. Like, she says this and I do this, or he says this and I do this. You will see a pattern. Just step out of yourself, write the shit down, and look at it in just cold black and white and look for the pattern. Get out of the pattern and get in control of yourself. And what's the good for this? This new you is full of possibilities and potentials. The greatest test of control is not controlling anybody else, it's controlling yourself. And once you've learned the power of boundaries, 'cause that's what you're going to use is boundaries. It's like, hey, work, I'm not picking up Joe's slack over there, and it's 5 o'clock. I'm out of here. Or you know what? Hey, baby, I know you want to go do this thing, but I already said I want to do this thing tonight, so I'd like you to come with me, or I'm going by myself. Like you use your boundaries to define who you are, and because your boundaries are controlling your time and your energy and yourself, you eventually will get deeper and deeper into how to control yourself in its entirety. Second, they don't want you to be the man because it means you're changing the game. Why is that bad for them? Controlling your game is to control the resources environment. Your environment, that's your habitat, your immediate surroundings. Once they can no longer control that, then they definitely have lost control of you. They like you as you are. Um, they like your world, and once they understand your world, they understand the stimulus of you. So if they know what your normal pattern is, what your house is like, what your job is like, what your office is like, all these environments, if they can control these, then they can control you. But as you level up and become a man, you change the game and you change your environment, you change your habitat. Once they lose that, they know they've lost another level of controlling you. They no longer know how things work. They no longer know your environment. It's challenging them for your time and energy as a resource. As you change the game, you're changing your landscape, the places you go to, the activities you enjoy, the people you meet. Why this is good for you? Well, this makes you powerful, and it makes you hard to keep in your place because you have a new place and you're expanding, you're growing, you're evolving. The old game wasn't working for you because the old game they knew the environment, they knew the rules, and they knew how to play it. Maybe you were stressed out. Maybe you were annoyed and frustrated all the time. But either way, this new game is new territory for you to grow in. How do you find what this environment is that you occupy and how it's not working for you? Well, once again, like the first point, stop and think, write it down. Look at the places where you get manipulated. Not so much like the places in your life, but physically, where are the places where you keep getting controlled? Is it at work? Is it at home? Is it when you're out with the guys at this same old bar? Is it at the same old club? Like, look at your patterns, and if you're not happy with it, list them so you can break them or change them. I mean, it might be subtle changes, but a subtle change is still a change. Third reason they don't want you to be the man, it means you can exhibit influence on others that once influenced you. Yes, I know. You're like, well, damn it, Jack, you just said that that the goal is not to control other people. It's not, and I'll explain in a second. Why this is bad for them, because it's your turn to move pieces on the game board and not just be a piece. You're reversing influence, but you're not controlling. See, anything that people can influence, they can control. And what's the difference? Influence is more subtle, but it's still control, and it can lead to just like an influence is like a very subtle suggestion, like, hey, it'd be great if you come by tonight. Control is you will come by tonight. Excuse me. Hiccups during the show, people. So influencing leads to control. It's like a direct next step. Before they could get you to move how they needed you to move, and not only could they move you, but now as the man you can move them back. This is the alpha level of things. First is to be free from influence, then is to be free to grow, and then is to be free to influence back. Like I said, the greatest control is to have control over yourself. This is why they don't want you to be the man. Once you are this decisive, formidable force that creates boundaries, that honors its boundaries, that has conviction, that says what it's going to do and does what it's going to say, and also says what it's not going to do. Once you become hard to control, and they can't control you, they can't control your environment. Now, should you need something, you can then influence back. Or you can just make a statement like, well, I want this. I want that. I need this. I need this from you. Because I guarantee you, while you are being controlled, you're not asking anybody to do anything for you. You're just giving, 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 but you're not asking for anything back. You're not receiving anything. So you can now exhibit influence on others. Why is this good for you? Well, no real player is about controlling others, but sometimes you got to move pieces on the board. There's nothing wrong with asking for help, and sometimes you might need extra from other people. You will have to ask/tell people what you need. And this is also done with protecting your boundaries. Um, yeah, I had a boss once who told me, it's like, until you tell me you can't take anymore, I'm going to dump a ton of shit on top of you at work all the time. And a part of me was like, oh man, that's like a challenge. I'm never going to say I can't do anything. I don't want to look, overwhelmed or weak. And a part of me is like, whoa, fuck that. If you reach a point it's too much, you have to speak up and say, it's too much. I need you to back off. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly healthy. But that was me exhibiting influence on my boss. Like, hey, you want to give me more, but I'm telling you, I'm letting you know that I can't handle anymore. If you give me more, I'm going to fuck up the projects that you give me because I'm burned out. I'm past my limit. Fourth reason they don't want you to become a man or the man is it means you're in a position to level up and change. And so why is that bad for them? When you're in the position to change, you change how they know you. You alter how they deal with you. This encapsulates all of the other steps, 1 through 3. You're leveling up, you're changing, and people hate change. Why? Because it makes them change. And 2, because it's unknown and they get scared. People hate change because it makes them change. And also because it's the unknown and they get scared. And the human animal likes to be comfortable, and change is scary. And as you level up, you become unfamiliar to people, even though you look the same, or maybe, you have a new fitness regimen as the man that you're becoming, and you get healthier, you lose weight, or you put on muscle, or some combination of the two. When you change, you're going to find that people are going to treat you a little different because they don't know, they don't know where you're coming from. And so it's a little spooky for them. So, why that's good for you though? Change is good. I mean, it's scary as shit, but it's good. And instead of being afraid of change and the unknown, you got to realize you can succeed with change. You got to realize that there is a ton of possibility and growth in change. And it's good to shake things up every so often because, these people who love you, but they see you as a resource, you are reliable. And we take reliable things for granted. When was the last time you thanked the sun for coming up every day? Or gravity for working and you not floating off into space? Or gravity working and you not floating off into space? Things that are reliable we take for granted. But when you start to just be a little bit different, when you start to grow, people will feel it and they'll have to reassess, well, shit, am I earning this resource staying in my life? They may not phrase it that way, but part of them is going to think, well, shit, am I doing everything I need to do to keep this new man in my life? And you're going to see people treat you a little bit different, and there's nothing wrong with that. The last reason that they don't want to see you be the man is it means that they may get left behind. And that is, what did I say before? Remember, control is all about fear. And why is that bad for them? Well, everybody fears abandonment. It's one of those built-in, fears we have as kids, right? We're always afraid someone's going to just dump our ass or leave us out there somewhere. And when they don't know what you're changing into, especially by being a man, this force of nature all of a sudden that can say no and, I can't do that, but I can do this. I'm not going to do that. I like this. I said I'm going to be there at 6:00. I'm not going to be late anymore. When they see you change like that, they fear that you're going to move on from them. Like you're going to dump them. You're going to leave them. And this shows that their connection to you was heavily based on fear. And that's not healthy, right? Why this is good for you? Well, this phase gives you a true sample of who's got your back and who doesn't / who can't. The people who don't have your back, they just want to keep their foot on your neck. They just want you to act the way that you act so that they know how to deal with you. So they know how to use triggers and words and colors and whatever it is to make you, I need him to do AB167 and you do AB167 exactly the way they need you to do it. The people who can't get your back, they just can't imagine or fathom you as something different, because how you are exactly right now is this resource that they know. They count on you to fit into their paradigm exactly as you are. They like you and they want the best for you. But because you're safe and they're used to how you fit, they want you exactly as the pillar of the world that you are. And they fear if you change, you're going to change their world and you're going to leave them all together. And so, ultimately there are different theys out there, like I said, work, spouses, significant others, family, friends, whatever it is. They don't want you to be the man because it means change. It means independence. And that scares people who have relied on you to be something different for far too long. People feel comfortable when they know how you fit, how they can rely on you, how you respond to love, how you respond to guilt. When they know your stimuli, they use it. And a lot of this stuff, fellas, real talk, it's subconscious. Like people just, and we kind of manipulate each other. We don't mean it. We're not sitting there like, twiddling our mustaches with, evil long fingernails or anything. But sometimes we just want people to be what we need them to be or want them to be. And if they go to change and they get a little dependent, it kind of freaks us out. If you need to, you can reassure people that you're not leaving them just adding to your life. You're adding a new environment. You're adding a different day-to-day routine in your life. You're showing up on time. You're taking care of your body. You're taking care of your finances. You're reading more positive things. Like you're leveling up. You're becoming the man or a man, however you want to phrase it. But that doesn't mean you're going to just dump them on the curb. Or you don't tell them shit and you just level up and be this man who you have to be, and you don't worry about it. They'll either get on board or they don't. So that's the show, folks. One more time, go to GameOnWithJack.shop, enroll free for classes and workshops, free Guys Night Out guide. Mini workshop is available. This month I will unveil Alpha 201, how to be an alpha male, coming soon. Sign up for the new Game On with Jackson Stuart email list. That's at gameonwithjack.aweb.page, and swing by patreon.com/gameonwithjack. Subscribe to Game On Guys today. Good people, sexy people, I will catch you soon. Until then, game on.